Alright, guys, so today I want to get my Week 2 power rankings after last week's games. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of my players from last week's power rankings, a lot of my teams went up, down, left, and right. It was all over the place. And I'll be honest, that's kind of just how week 1 is. You know, we kind of get a general gist of what the teams might look like. Obviously, it's not a full look at what the teams will look like, because obviously, you know, week 1, yes, it matters, but not on a grand scale of things, right? So I'm going to rank these based on going to week 2. Keep this in mind, it does not mean the team, if I rank the team certain place, that they're bad or good, or they're going to be great this season. It just means, like, right now, this is where I put them. Best team in the NFL, yeah, the Philadelphia Eagles. They beat the Patriots. They only beat them 25-20, which actually was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But still, they beat the Eagles. Beat the Patriots, and they played good football. And they actually moved up 2 spots in my power rankings here. Last week I had the Bengals at number 1, and now I have the Eagles at number 1. So they moved up a tad bit in my power rankings. Again, very good win versus the Patriots. Patriots always have a tough defense. Number 2, up 3 spots from last week, we have the 49ers, who dominated the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, again, like I said, another team that really got dominated in this week 1 opponent was the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got dominated. The Steelers got dominated too. 49ers look really good. Brock Purdy actually looks like a very capable starter yet again. I thought I was kind of, I didn't think he was going to do awful, but I didn't think he was going to do really that great. And he ended up really doing amazing. So I got to give him props for that. And overall wise, great win by the 49ers right there. All right, number 3. This is controversial. Kansas City Chiefs. I only moved them down 1 spot. And you might say, well, wait, hold up. You're moving the Bengals down a lot, but you're not going to move down the Chiefs a lot. And the reason why is because the Chiefs, while yes, they did lose, right? You also do have to look at the fact they don't have Travis Kelce. They don't have, what's his name? Chris Jones out there. They did lose that game, but realistically speaking, if Kadarius Toney just knew how to catch the football one time in that game, they would have won that game. And they also lost a game versus a non-conference opponent, a non-divisional opponent, which I think factors in hugely when it comes to power rankings, and really should, because when you lose to a divisional opponent, that's when things get really bad. When you lose to a, when you lose to a team that's like, okay, this is another conference, it's not as much of a bad loss. And again, like I said, if Kadarius Toney would have done anything in this game, they probably would have won the game. Now, you could make the argument, well, they cheated the whole game because the right tackle kept jumping, but that's more on the refs, if anything. And we kind of grow to expect this is normal with KC. They just always going to get the refs to go their way. But, again, like I said, it's one of the situations where it's like, they played a great game versus the Lions. They didn't get destroyed. They didn't get blown out. They played a very consistently good game. And if it wasn't for a couple things going somewhere else, they could have won that game. So I'm going to put them at number 3. I don't think they're a bad team. I definitely will say that, week 1 was a weird week for them. Week 4, number 4. I have the Bills / the Jets because they play tonight. So I also have the Jets / the Bills later on this list. And it's going to be whoever wins goes at number 4. Whoever loses goes down at number whatever, right? So that's kind of that. They play tonight, so I can't really rank them, future-wise here. But number 5 is the Miami Dolphins. They played a great game versus the Chargers, and they won the game. And they really surprised me because I did not expect them on defense. I expected what they did on defense, which was okay, decent, nothing special. But offensively, though, they did everything I expected. Tyreek Hill went out there, played great football. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 crazy plays. Yeah. Sorry, my throat's kind of closing up as I'm talking, so it was real there. Number 6, Jacksonville Jaguars. They had an easier matchup. They beat a divisional opponent, Indianapolis Colts. I have them ranked the same place I have them ranked the last week. And they played, Anthony Richardson for the first time ever in the NFL. And again, they played good against him, but I'm going to give them just the same spot as last week. I don't think they really did anything too crazy special in this game. So just going to put them at 6. Number 7, Dallas Cowboys. They won last night. They blew out a divisional opponent. Absolutely mollywopped them. And I'm not saying the Giants are that good of an opponent, although last year the Giants did make the playoffs. You got to keep that in consideration. But overall wise, this is a new year, new team. Man, they looked good. Those Cowboys looked good. That defense looked good. That offense looked good. Pretty much everything on that team looked really freaking good. So, shout out to them for that. They're number 7. And actually, I put -2. It's actually +2. I made a mistake here. They actually went up 2 spots. They didn't go -2. Number 8. Yeah. Up 6 spots since last week. I got to put Cleveland up there. Listen, they spanked us. They punched us in the mouth. They threw us down a escalator and then just turned it on, and we just went right back up the escalator. This doesn't matter throughout the whole entire season, and after week 1, this is not going to change anything. I think after week 1, we will be absolutely fine, and I think week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, so on and so on will be a great team. But this is definitely a wake-up call. There's a lot of things we got to take away from that game, is that, we went into that game, thinking that, our offense was going to click on all cylinders. We're going to pick up right where we did off the AFC Championship game, and we didn't. Facts of the matter is, we had a tough game. The Browns played a good game. They didn't, I wouldn't say they played the best first half, but they played a really good second half, and they took care of us, and their defense dominated. So, I'm going to put them here at number 8. Hate to do that, because I've never ranked the Browns this high up on the list here. Maybe that's a little bit me being biased, but yeah, I'm going to put them at number 8. All right. Number 9. Detroit Lions. I wanted to put the Lions higher on this list because, yes, they did beat the Kansas City Chiefs, and that was a questionable, like no one thought they were going to do that, right? Let's be honest. And they are up 6 spots since last week. But again, like I said, they did not win that game in a, just crazy fashion. They won in a crazy fashion, they would have been way up higher on this list. But they really squeaked by that win, which nothing wrong with that. I mean, they're playing a great team. But that's why they're at number 9, because they kind of squeaked by that win. And also, I'm moving them up 6 spots. So, Lions fans, you're getting that. Accept that. Number 10, the Baltimore Ravens. They went ahead and moved up 2 spots after beating the Houston Texans. A little bit easier of a matchup. It was a conference opponent, which is good for them. But a little bit easier matchups against a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud. But listen, they did end up hurting a lot of players in this game. They went into it without Marlon Humphreys, without Mark Andrews, and they came out with J.K. Dobbin out for the season. Marcus Williams is hurt. Ronnie Stanley got hurt in this game. Tyler Lindenbaum got hurt in this game. They walked out of this game with a lot of problems and injuries. But number 10 for right now, after they beat the Texans. Number 11, whoever wins between the Jets and the Bills. Number 12, Chargers. Again, they lost this game, but they played this game very tough versus the Miami Dolphins. I got to give them credit where credit is due here. They played a very tough, hard-fought game, and they went back and forth, and in the end, Dolphins, it was just simply the better team. So, great on both sides there. Packers, they beat they beat the Chicago Bears. And this was in, I believe, wasn't it in Chicago or was it in Green Bay? Let me double check. I think this was in, if I believe so correctly, this wasn't, it was Soldier Field. Right, so that's Green Bay. That's Chicago. I just remembered Soldier Field because Tom Grossi talked about it. They beat them. They smacked them up and down the wall. Jordan Love had 3 touchdowns in this game. Aaron Jones had a receiving touchdown and also ran the ball in for a couple touchdowns. Listen, this Packers squad, they might have found themselves a new quarterback. Who knows? Maybe the Bears just suck. But at the end of the day, pretty good win for them today, and they got the job done. Number 14, the Atlanta Falcons. They played a divisional opponent here, and they absolutely did everything you would want, if you're a Falcons fan, you would want them to do. And I was surprised that Tyler Agier, I cannot say his name right now for some reason. I've been butchering his name like the last week for some reason. I've been able to say his name my whole entire life, but the last week it's been butchered. Anyway, though, he was actually the main guy in this game. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, and he was the guy who got a lot of the rushes. I think a lot of people thought going into this game was going to be all Bijan Robinson, and it simply wasn't. They did win this game by 2 touchdowns, and it was actually a pretty good win in the end. Bryce Young didn't look the best. He did throw 1 interception in this game. He also threw 1 touchdown, but it was an interesting game. And again, that's why they're up 5 spots at this number 14 here. And 15 is the Commanders. They beat the Arizona Cardinals. I'm at 15 here and not high on this list because they didn't beat them in a commanding fashion. They played them and they got by them. And I was heavily surprised by that because I thought the Cardinals, I mean, don't get me wrong, they were trying to tank, in all honesty. But somehow, some way, the Commanders almost ended up ruining that tank. I don't understand how. Now, of course, in this game, I believe the Commanders fumbled the ball for 6 at one point. So, yeah, it was a rough game. But anyway, though, number 16, the New Orleans Saints, they barely squeaked by. Derek Carr barely squeaked by the Titans. And I say squeaked by, but they had 3 interceptions on Ryan Tannehill. So I guess it wouldn't really be squeaked by. Derek Carr had 325 passing yards in this game. I mean, the Saints look like they're a new team. And starting out the season beating the Titans isn't really the biggest accomplishment in the world. But listen, you play who you play who you're scheduled to play. And that's exactly what they did here, and they got the job done. All right, number 17, the Raiders. Winning a 1-point game versus the Denver Broncos here. Again, another really tough game. Back and forth at the end here, and they end up winning. Russell looked good, and at the end of the day, Jimmy G looked good, and that team's going to be interesting moving forward. All right, so, yep, here we are. I have us at number 18. I mean, listen, I hate to do this because this actually breaks my heart to put my team this low in the list, but we looked that bad yesterday. We looked incompetent for 4 quarters of that game, and there's no excuse. There's no excuse at all. So, it is what it is. You know, it's very possible we go out this week and we play the Ravens and we play really good, and I move them right back up the list here to a top 10 team. And I think, you know, we're going to play really good this week against Baltimore and really move ourselves back up. But I'm going to have to put them here because we scored 3 points in 4 quarters. We threw for 82 yards in that game. We rushed the ball for less than 20 yards in that game. I can't put us anywhere higher on this list. At the end of the day, yeah, the Chiefs lost, but the Chiefs lost by 1 point, and they played the Lions very tough, and it was a back-and-forth game. There was no back and forth in this game. It was the Browns absolutely dominated us, punched us in the mouth, and threw us down well. It was pretty bad. So, again, like I said, I hate to put us this low on this list because I think we are a way better team. Like, again, this is just based on week 1 performance and going into week 2. Overall wise, I still think we're a top 5 team. I think 1000% we're a top 5 team, but I have to put us where, you know, how we played in week 1. That's just, it is what it is, but we're going to put them down there. Number 19, the Rams. They beat the Seahawks. That was actually amazing. I would say the ultimate trap game, but it is what it is. They won. The Bucks beat the Vikings. Another really crazy game there. And then kind of just going down this list here, we had the Titans who lost to the Saints. Patriots played a really great game versus the Eagles. Vikings beat the Bucks. Vikings lost to the Bucks. Broncos lost to the Raiders. Colts lost to the Jags. Cardinals lost to the Commanders. Seahawks lost to the Rams. Steelers lost to the 49ers. Bears lost to the Packers. Panthers lost to the Falcons. Texans, Ravens, Giants, Cowboys. Also, a little side note, also with the Bengals being at 18 here, we also lost the divisional matchup versus the Cleveland Browns. It was an AFC North game too. So again, there's so many different factors that go into that. I know I'm gonna get a lot of I don't know. I think a lot of you guys are gonna understand my ranking of number 18. But at the same time, though, I know there's going to be some fans who are like, hey, we should always be top 5 no matter what. And I get that, trust me. I think we're a top 5 team overall-wise, 1,000%. I just think, you know, hey, listen, going to week 2, we're just going to get better. We're going to fix that. And ending off week 2, we're going to be way higher. But at this moment in time, that's why I have us ranked. All right, guys, tell me down below your thoughts and opinions, though. The Giants are obviously the worst team in football right now after what they did last night. But I'll see you guys in the next one.